Good evening. Welcome to episode 11 of Cosmic Koolaid. I'm your host, Cory Short. In the studio with me today, I got none other than the very talented, multifaceted Blake Anthony Ellege. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, Cory. How are you doing?
Good, man. Welcome into the podcast studio here. Glad to have you.
Thanks so much for having me, man.
Been waiting a while. We get to unpack a whole bunch of stuff with you. Three very different parts of your life, which are all very exciting and really kind of remarkable how you pull it all off at the same time. But we're gonna unpack all that. Blake is a former moonshiner who has recently launched his own legal brand of spirits. We're gonna tap into that. He is also one of this area's most well-booked and well-rounded musicians, playing in multiple bands on tour, on and off since he was 6 years old, and truly a remarkable talent musically. And then his, other than obviously being a great husband and, member of the community out in the western part of Western North Carolina, you are also this area's most prolific and recognizable Santa Claus during the holiday season, which also ties into your music too. We're going to tap into all that. But anyway, welcome, bro. Tell me how life is. What's going on with you?
Things are crazy, man. Second week in January, we finalized our year. As far as shows are concerned, we have right around 150-ish paid performances on the books for this year. Kind of 3/4 of them are private events and stuff, but we're trying to play in public at least once a month in each county in North Carolina, Western North Carolina, and outside of that, just going with the flow, feeding animals, taking care of animals, and releasing this product line. Holly and I have been.
So how many animals? You got a whole farm?
Well, Holly and I, we have a little homestead at 3,600 feet in Haywood County, and we raise meat rabbits, we raise meat birds, laying hens, game birds, quail, pheasant, stuff like that. And we have now, we've been bottle feeding for baby sheep the past 2 weeks, so we're raising sheep now. And Holly has 20 beehives, and I mean, every day is a crazy adventure.
Bro, I thought I was busy, and I'm busy, but when do you sleep? Because, isn't that like a 4 a.m. job right there in itself, taking care of?
There have been plenty of times where I've had to go outside in my house shoes and my boxers, trying to see what the chickens were going crazy about or what the dog was barking at, and it never stops. You wake up at 2:00 in the morning and there's a raccoon out on the back porch eating cat food that you left out for the cats, and have to take care of that, and it never stops.
So what is you prefer that life out in the country?
Well, it's weird. I didn't have a really normal childhood. I started singing at the age of 2, and grew up with a family that was very, very active in church and the Southern gospel music scene. And my mother actually did payroll for Squire Parsons, very prolific gospel songwriter. And whenever I showed prowess in music, the moment I showed any kind of promise, my mother was like, let's see where this goes. So I was standing on a piano bench at 3 years old singing in church. And, I never really... for as long as I remember, I never really had a normal life. It was 5 years old, record contract, tour bus for the next 13 years of your life. So my grandparents, they always farmed, had gardens, huge gardens that fed them for the whole year. So I grew up around that. But now, later on in life, it's great to be able to get back to that. So I'm glad to be getting back to the old paths.
So, and you got married just this last year, right?
I did. Got married.
Tell me about your wife.
Got married to Holly this past summer, July, and coming up on our 1 year anniversary. in July. Got married on the top of the mountain at Ghost Town, the former abandoned theme park up there. Thankfully, Lord willing, we got we got permission from the owners, and it was a very, very sweet and touching private ceremony, and tied the knot and just partied all weekend at Hillbilly Jam, starting the day after that, and had a great time, and we've been burning it up ever since.
Awesome. Well, we all watched your your career, your music, and your Santa stuff, and how busy you are. But when you added her to the mix, things seem to go uphill for you, and now you're launching your own liquor line, spirit line, and it looks like some big things happening. So sometimes it just takes that perfect teammate.
It does. I'm a firm believer in, I heard somebody say a long time ago, they said, behind every single strong man, there's an even stronger woman pushing him and holding him up. And that's what I have with Holly. She gets what's left over at the end of the day after I give everything to everyone else and after everyone else takes everything from me. And she loves me in spite of, all the horrible days, all the discouragement that I get, all the haters, all the bull crap that I have to deal with, and she loves me in spite of all my faults. And at the end of the day, she's my rock, and I can't begin to imagine life without her now that I'm with her. So it's,
well, congratulations on finding your soulmate, man. That's cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's for sure.
Great feeling, for sure. All right, so let's just jump right into this, man. Let's talk about all things spirits. Just a disclosure here, folks. This is not a under 21 approved show. We are going to be sampling all of Blake's new line here. I might end up, talking a different language.
Are you sure
by the
you
time
want to do
this
this?
episode is over? And I'm supposed to be, on Lent, and me and my wife gave up certain things for Lent. This was supposed to be one of those things. Blake, I'm not real strong. And you have a whole new line of products, and you're in my podcast studio, so we're probably going to break that rule today.
Well, you lasted a day.
Thank you, sir. I'm on day 5.
It's Ash Wednesday, and
it's
Thursday.
I know, I get that. No meat, no dairy, no soda, no alcohol is supposed to be the goal. We are 100% so far, but we're about to mess it up. So,
all right.
So go ahead and tell the audience what we're working with here.
So
introduce your line to me.
So basically, full disclosure, Holly and I, we had family members, at least 2 to 3 generations out from us, like great-grandparents, that made alcohol, ran alcohol, basically lubricated the whole Southeast. Mm-hmm. And, my side of the family, it fell off for a couple of generations, and same with her. But I always was around people, especially in Western North Carolina in the area, and dabbled in it and helped people out that were making it, and made a fair amount of my own, in the past. But we decided that, with the line of work that I do, we love to be out in bars. We love to drink and have fun with our friends. We love stuff that's really accessible, that's kind of no muss, no fuss. Fill up a cooler with ice, go out on the boat, go for a hike, go spend time with friends, four-wheeling, stuff out in the woods, and be able to open up the cooler and have a great drink. And so that's how we came up with Mountaintop Spirits. We spent a year and a half with a distillery out in Piney Flats, Tennessee, East Tennessee Distillery, and sat down with them and developed this product line. And basically, this brand of spirits is your go-to drink for any occasion, whether you're having a barbecue, you're hiking, you're boating, you're getting together with friends at the lake. Doesn't matter. You have something in any flavor imaginable that's ready to drink and share with others. And The cool thing is that it's safe to take with you anywhere because it's in plastic bottles. It's shatterproof.
So are all the flavors based from? Is it a grain alcohol base, and then you build up the drink from there?
Well, yeah. So just distilleries that are popular now, and I'll say that. What people don't know is that they are making these products with fuel grade ethanol.
Go ahead and hand me that shot glass and that banana while you're telling me about it.
There you go.
We're going to get this party started.
So these distilleries, they're getting fuel grade ethanol brought in on tanker trucks, and they are putting this ethanol in candy tumblers and all kinds of just flavoring agents in, and they're bottling them. You're not getting a true pint or a quart. You're not getting. He's smelling of it. He's smelling of it.
Oh man.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, I know that smell.
But you're not getting a real quart jar. It's actually less than a quart. And
these are less than a quart?
no, at these major distilleries, you think, oh, we're getting a quart jar. No, it's smaller than a quart, first of all. But it's at a point where, if you don't know these details, it kind of messes with you. But you're actually drinking fuel grade ethanol that's being diluted with water and flavoring added at these distilleries, and you're putting it in your body. That's why, after you drink a whole quart of it at a party, you wake up and you're sick as a dog the next day. It's because you're drinking ethanol. But to answer your question, this is actual corn-based and sugar-based alcohol that we're adding natural flavoring to, and going from there.
Well, here we go. I'm going to give it a try, ladies and gentlemen. Mountaintop Spirits. You can begin requesting it at your liquor store tomorrow,
In
February
North Carolina.
the 24th in North Carolina. And here we go. This is the banana flavor from Mountaintop Spirits. Ooh, that's got a kick to it, but really good flavor.
But wait for it. Let it settle.
Warm in the belly.
Mm-hmm. Now, you haven't had anything to drink today, have you? Oh, that's right. You gave it up for Lent. Sorry.
Warm in the belly. Full of flavor.
Now,
Not a lot of burn going down the esophagus. That's good.
but these are room temperature. These haven't been cooled down. But,
Good point.
But also,
Very good flavor, though.
one thing that I neglected to mention is that these are 60 proof.
Okay.
So major distilleries, they're selling stuff at 30 proof, half that, or 25. So, a little goes a long way with this stuff. You can mix it with anything that you want.
So you're saying those moonshine jars that you can actually buy in the ABC store, those are like 20, 30 proof?
They don't have that much alcohol, believe it or not. They really don't.
Yep. I should know this owning a bar, but what's like a Captain Morgan's rum? What proof is that?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking right around at 85, 90 proof. I mean,
Okay.
it's high up there, but, it's not flavored. Right. It's a shelf staple. It's a bar staple. People don't go out and say, I want the strongest rum that you got. They get Captain Morgan or whatever. But whenever they're looking to have fun and drink something fun, there aren't really that many selections. So.
All right, folks. I got Blake Ellege in the booth with me. We are here repping his brand new spirit line, Mountaintop Spirits. He's got like 12 flavors available here. How many total will be available?
So starting tomorrow in North Carolina, you can go to your North Carolina ABC store and request 7 flavors. Those 7 flavors are going to be peach, caramel, coffee, root beer, strawberry, coconut, and, oh, man, I forgot the other one.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, I can speak to the banana. It's delicious, and we're going to come back in just a minute and talk more about it. Folks, we are sponsored by Trinity Farms Hemp Company, and we'll be right back to talk more Mountaintop Spirits right here in a few. Stay with us. And welcome back to Cosmic Koolaid. I'm your host, Cory Short. In the booth with me today, we have Blake Ellege, who is a masterful musician and now a spirit liquor maker himself. He's been a moonshiner, doing that back room, hide back in the valley, popcorn Sutton shit. And now he is fully legit and fully legal in the state of North Carolina.
That's right.
Mountaintop Spirits. You can order, probably by the time you watch this, you can order it at your ABC store starting tomorrow. And what an exciting thing, man. Like,
it's been a long road.
No easy task what you've done here.
No, whenever we started out, Holly and I, we were like, we have to, if we want to do things right, if we want to do things, to better serve people safely and the right way, we need to be able to get it into a controlled environment. And that's what we did. And this product line, man, I'm telling you, it's...
Go ahead and let me try some. Let me try some of that watermelon. Let's move on to the watermelon. We're going to try all these flavors by the time the show's over. Hopefully, I'll be able to walk out of here. But
I'll carry you.
Well, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. So, so I've got 2 liquor licensed facilities,
right?
And it was a nightmare to get those licenses. It's not easy. It's so hard to get the permits and the licensing to be able to do that. I imagine for something like this, it's 10 times worse.
Well, see, so North Carolina is a controlled state, and you have to. There he goes. North Carolina is a controlled state, and you have to go through all the proper channels whenever you either open a distillery or release a product through a distillery or, have a distributorship set up. There's all kinds of crazy paperwork that you have to go through, mountains of it. And luckily for us, we were able to find a great distillery with East Tennessee Distillery to do subcontracted work for us. And through our distributorship, we were able to create the product there in Tennessee and bring the product into North Carolina. Now, granted, we're still releasing product and can release product in Tennessee, but we created this brand to release first in North Carolina because North Carolina is our home state. And
couple of things.
Yeah.
Body temperature elevated by 15 degrees. Definitely some quality alcohol in there. It's working.
Right.
Tummy is warm. Feel great. Tastes great. Question. So if you go out to a bar and you mix all kinds of different liquors, you're going to get sick.
Of course. Yeah.
Now, if you mix 5 or 6 of these, it's all the same alcohol, right? Just different sugars and flavors.
Well, just different flavors. Yeah.
So you can try different flavors all night. It's going to be a nice, smooth, even.
Well,
one alcohol,
depending on how much you drink.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're not mixing different.
It's not
it's
like
all the same.
It's not mixing
alcohol.
Tequila and beer.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's all the same alcohol. It's just different flavors.
Sure. Now tell me what a marketing master by the name of Jeff Taylor with Taylor Made Marketing here in town. Actually, he once told me, you've got to have something about your brand that is quintessentially unique.
Right.
What do you think that is for Mountaintop? What separates you from the pack?
Well, there was a lot of different things that we did to separate ourselves with this brand. I touched on it earlier, whenever you go to these major distilleries, they sell it in quote unquote quart jars. You're not getting a full quart. You're almost getting a third less than a full quart in those jars.
Right.
This is true 750 milliliter. So you're getting a full bottle. The proof, the alcohol content, is significantly higher. And with all of these flavors, you have something for everyone, and that's what other distilleries have that we have, but the alcohol content is higher. There's more volume. The flavor is much better, and it's easier to access as far as the packaging. With glass, you can't take it on boats.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take it hiking without the worry of it getting broken. This is the kind of bottle that you put in your cooler or put in your backpack with a cool pack and go on a hike, go out on the boat, have barbecue with friends, you can take it anywhere and drink it straight out of the bottle.
Straight out of the bottle, over the rocks.
That's
you
right.
got to drink. So you said a green apple martini.
Oh yeah,
right out of the bottle.
Our green apple. You know, a lot of people like.
That's next. Let's try it.
A lot of people they like the liquid marijuana drinks.
Yeah,
and they like green apple martinis. This is basically a green apple martini in a bottle. It's kind of reminiscent of, the green apple candies that you had when you're a kid, the green apple blow pops, stuff like that. Really nostalgic, but really present green apple taste.
Very much so. These are good, Blake. These are really good.
We've spent a lot of time, a lot of market research, and lots of lots of questions were asked with our friends and
now,
stuff.
do you get all your flavorings from the same place, or
all the flavorings come from the same company?
Okay.
Natural ingredients, natural flavorings, and
but you do manufacture and bottle the alcohol in Tennessee.
That's right. Yeah,
and then you distribute it in North Carolina.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Well, man, this is very exciting, and having two venues and doing the concerts, I see lots of potential for something like this.
Oh yeah, and the great thing about it is that it gets you so freaking happy. It's so easy to drink. You can drink it over the rocks, like you said. We've had friends of ours say, "Hey, we've got your strawberry. We've put it in the blender with ice, 6 ounces in a blender with ice, poured it in a glass, instant strawberry daiquiri." Possibilities are endless for this line of spirits, and we're really excited.
Well, I'm excited for you, man. That's good stuff, and I look forward to working with you, bringing some of this to our venues for sure. That's exciting.
You said you liked root beer. You want to try root beer?
I do. Let's try root beer next.
I'm not going to twist your arm that much more.
Let's do a little.
You want to do a little?
Let's do a little. I want to be able to get through this show, sir, so my audience can hear me all the way till the end.
All right. So this is going to
No, by little one, I mean you can fill that whole little glass up. Yeah.
You realize that I was giving you less in the bigger glass, though.
Well, it's all perception.
All right. There you go.
There we go.
Classic.
All right, we have root beer flavored mountaintop spirit. And my goal with this would be to mix it with some regular root beer, most likely.
Of course, or cream soda.
Or cream soda.
Or Dr. Pepper, if they want to pay us for that.
Oh,
man. Yeah.
That's dangerous. Dangerously good. I mean, you pop that right in with some Barks root beer.
Yeah, or we have a lot of friends that pour it on top of their vanilla ice cream.
Oh, man. So a root beer liquor float.
Yeah.
Far out.
Basically. You can do root beer shots all day long.
Reminds me, they used to have that Firefly sweet tea liquor that blended with sweet tea, and you couldn't tell that you were drinking liquor.
Well,
I bet that would do a similar effect with a root beer.
With our peach and our watermelon and our blackberry, strawberry, put 3 shots of that and a glass of lemonade, Sprite, whatever.
So what is it going to take for you to be able to sell in both states?
So we can already sell in Tennessee.
You can. Okay.
We can, but we don't. Tennessee is not a home state for us, and we wanted to release a product in our home state first.
Okay.
We have distributors in South Carolina and Georgia that want this product already, but we want North Carolina to have kind of first dibs, our friends in North Carolina, to be able to experience the product and really show us what they like in the state as far as this product line is concerned first, before we go into South Carolina and Georgia and Tennessee and other states.
Now, what is Holly's role with this? Is she the marketing and sales?
Holly, whenever we developed all of these flavors, Holly was right next to me. I mean, she was in every single business meeting. She was in every kind of capacity, right with me, every single capacity whenever it came to choosing flavors, saying, this one needs a stronger flavor, less alcohol, so-and-so. And we were able to figure out, the perfect balance between flavor and proof, or quote-unquote alcohol strength. for each product and the nice balance straight across the board, because we wanted each flavor to have the same amount of alcohol, same amount of flavor quality, and something that can be, the same for every single product. We didn't want one bottle to be 70 proof and another bottle to be 30 proof. We wanted something straight across.
Sure.
So she was there to keep everything in check.
She's your quality control expert.
Well, that and, the whole label design. I mean, you look at the label, and she was the force behind that. She's like, I really think that we should have this here, have that there. And she was a huge part in every single step of the process, for sure.
Oh man, it's really becoming a struggle for me to make it through an episode without talking about AI. But I can't wait till AI can just make those for me. I spend so much time, and my friend and coworker Katie, we spend so much time doing graphics, and I'm looking forward to artificial intelligence being able to knock out stuff like that, and it will be able to by the end of the year. Just make that for me, give it some details, and it spits something out.
It's crazy.
It really is. But I'm not going to get into AI today. I've spent the last 4 episodes talking about it. Tell me what the future is. This something you're wanting to build up and take a $100 million buyout and get out, or is this a lifetime deal for you?
Well, the thing about it is that alcohol is like the potato chip business. There are hundreds of different kinds of potato chips on the grocery store shelves. But there is a reason why there are 100 different brands of potato chips, and it's because that one particular brand has a dedicated audience of buyers that love that product. We're finding that with Mountaintop Spirits. We're not looking to take over or corner a market. We're wanting to be able to provide a product to groups of people or masses that like our product and want to continue to drink our product, that have, the same vision that we want it to be used for, parties, bringing people together, enjoying yourself. And that's what I want and what Holly wants for the company. I believe, just providing a product that helps people feel good and enjoy their life. And if we go to 5, 15, 20 states, great. It just means that we have a product that has longevity and has an audience, and we're going to keep working and pushing it. And
But you'd sell it. You'd sell it. You just answered my question. All right. Well, anyway, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful thing you've done here. I'm super excited for you.
Thank you.
For the brand. And, yeah, you got my wheels turning for sure.
Thank you.
On ways we can help expand it and build it and grow it.
Go request it at your North Carolina ABC store.
That's right. Starting tomorrow, that is Friday, February 24th, 2023.
That's right.
You can go to ABC stores in North Carolina to request Mountaintop Spirits. Is there a website yet?
Not a website yet.
Okay.
Very, very, we're keeping it completely dedicated to social media platforms right now.
Okay.
And that's for market purposes and research purposes. So we're wanting to keep it very, very small right now, but there will be an opportunity for us to start with a website once we get distribution in several more states. So.
Awesome. All right, folks. Well, you heard it here first. Mountaintop Spirits available by request tomorrow at your ABC store. We're going to take another short break. I'm Cory Short. This is Blake Ellege. We'll be right back.
In 2023, lines will be crossed, champions will be determined, and legends will be made. HVW once again sets the stage for great professional wrestling in Western North Carolina, bringing the best talent together for the Showdown Series at Silverado's, featuring TJ Boss, Jada, Stone, Reno, Royce, Luca, Daniels, Marcus, Erics, Michael, King, and King Enterprise. The bar and standard in professional wrestling has always been high in North Carolina. This year, High Velocity Wrestling takes that into the atmosphere. It's the Showdown Series at Silverados.
And welcome back to Cosmic Koolaid. I'm your host, Cory Short. We are in the studio with Blake Ellege, a former moonshiner, rocking his brand new spirit line legally right here in North Carolina. Mountaintop Spirits, available tomorrow in all your ABC stores by request. So stop by, have them order it. They'll get it in, and you can take it home with you. It is delicious. I am trying the cherry right now. That might be my favorite yet. That's really good.
I'm telling you, man, we put a lot of work into this brand, and we definitely are very proud of what we've been able to come out with. So
you should be, but enough about that. We're gonna come back to it at the very end to tell them, where they can reach you and learn more about it and all that fun stuff. But let's move into the musical side of your being. You are a very talented guy. That's really, when I think of you, I think the word talent comes to mind. And I think we'd be remiss not to tell our audience how we met. So I don't know, 6 years ago, you're living in Brevard and I'm here or something.
Yeah.
You're out there. You were at Brevard College or something. Anyway, you were tied to Brevard somehow. You reached out to me. You saw one of my music videos, maybe my first or second one, and you wanted to work with me on a music video. And I saw all your Facebook pictures with all these plus-size man fantastic fucking outfits that you have. And I'm like, you teach me how to dress like that, and I'll come make your music video or something to that tune. But man, you got such an array of showman outfits.
Oh yeah, man.
And your Facebook is just a ride down. It's like a psychedelic journey through your photos to see all your outfits.
They call me the Redneck Liberace.
Redneck Liberace.
Well, as far as clothing, not lifestyle.
So we got Honky Tonk Willy Wonka and Jason Ward, now Redneck Liberace. I like this.
But the clothes, man, I mean, between the knockoff nudie suits and hand-painted suits, tie-dyed suits, and all kinds of crazy stuff, man. It's people that are in this industry, they're clawing and clamoring the whole time to try to make it. And they're not having fun. You got to have fun. You got to enjoy what you're wearing. I never wear stuff that's popular.
That's what so many of these local artists, man, you're here to put on a fucking show.
Well,
put on a show. Give these people what they paid to see. And you do that better than anybody in town. Wow. You deliver a show.
I appreciate
every
that.
time. Yeah.
Well, it's I had the mentality whenever I started in this industry, and this year will be my 26th year, full time, and I started this industry with a mindset that whether it's 5 or 5,000 people, they're going to get the same show regardless. And if there's 5 people in the audience, those 5 people are the reason why you're on that stage. If there's 5,000 people in that field or in that auditorium, those 5,000 people are the reason why you're there. Regardless of the reason why you're on that stage, it all boils down to it's the people there. It's all about the people. Artists since the Renaissance, they're servants of the people. They are there to give hope, solace, help them escape their problems. That's why artists even exist, is, we're there to serve the public that's hurting, dying, going through turmoil. We're an escape from daily life. And that's what people tend to forget, is that as artists, our places in society are to be servants of the people. And I approach my shows and my career with that kind of mentality.
So As a full-time musician, how did COVID affect you? How did you survive and navigate that time?
Well, I I've always had a day job. I've always had a day job. And whenever I turned 13 or 14, my mom took me down to the labor board office and she said, whenever you're not on the road, you're going to be working. And I signed up for a worker's permit. And
14.
Yeah, 14. And I started bagging groceries at Go Grocery. That's what I did. You throwing stuff at me now?
Whatever, I haven't tried yet. Coconut, butterscotch, it don't matter.
Okay. But I got a worker's permit at the age of 14, and I started bagging groceries at Go Grocery. And that's what I did. And, you know, I've always worked, and it was no different than when COVID came around. I had right around, I want to say 180 shows on the books for 2020. And I got, this is how it started. I was supposed to be the Santa Claus at Radio City in New York, and get a call from the entertainment firm. And they say, hey, you know, we are kind of scared about this sickness that's going around. We don't want to take chances. You know, we're going to shut down all kind of public appearances and stuff until it blows over. And literally the day after that phone call, venues started calling. And I was like, oh, crap. And I had a day job at the time. I was doing some freelance work for another entertainment company, and I realized that, oh, wow, this isn't going to be a situation for me to have supplemental income. This is going to be a, you know, lifestyle change because of this pandemic. So by the time the third week in January came around, I had lost 3/4 of my gigs. And I did what any man would do that had to provide for his family, and that was get a dependable job.
Yep.
So I went to work in a factory.
It's so crazy to me how some people just didn't see that as a solution.
No, it's crazy. You know, I never collected a government check. Never, you know, did any of that. I went to work in a factory.
For the record, bro, I got mad respect for you for that.
And, you know,
I have another friend that did the same thing, and I would have done that before, just sitting at home collecting the free check. But I mean, I put in my time in my restaurant. There's no question. But the fact that you did that is huge.
But at the same time, you know, during COVID, you served your community. You provided food to a community. You know, your restaurant served your community.
Sure.
And, you know, I went to work in a factory. I did 60-hour work weeks, and mainly because we were in the healthcare industry and the medicine side of things. So it was sobering.
Did you do any of the streams? Did you play?
So yeah, we actually partnered. I reached out to Justin and Jeff at the Orange Peel, and we started the Quarantine Concert Series, and completely shut down the Orange Peel, which it wasn't in operation at the time. And I had originally reached out to Josh Blake at I Am AVL and said, hey, I want to do this concert series where we go into the homes of musicians so they don't have to leave home, and we stream their performances on I Am AVL for them to have some form of income during the pandemic. And then Justin and Jeff reached out and they said, no, we want you to come to the Peel. So we're like, that's awesome. So some of these acts that had dreamed, you know, for years of being able to play the Orange Peel, they got their chance.
Yeah.
But it wasn't in front of a crowd of people in person. It was streaming online. But still, these amazing acts did these streamed concerts from the Peel, and it was awesome. It was a way for them to show IMAVL's audience how awesome they were, and we already knew how awesome they were, but they had a platform to really, really put their music out there. And then that went for a while, and then the pandemic just got to where that it was so bad that we couldn't even get to where tapings were safe anymore. And it was right around the same time as the riots downtown Asheville, and we were actually, before the last taping, we were putting plywood up over the doors for the Orange Peel because the riots were supposed to happen that night. So it was a good run, and I really want to thank Justin and Jeff and Josh and everybody, Guy.
Yeah, no, we everybody had to get creative.
Yeah, it was
figure out a way to keep music alive, and kudos to all those guys and you and everybody involved that kept it rolling.
That's right.
Tell me about what got you into music. Did you just realize one day you can sing and I'm going to do this?
Well, so my parents, they were very musical, and before I was even a thought, they were in the Southern gospel music circuit.
Okay.
My dad and mom, they traveled around while they were married and sang Southern gospel. And whenever they had me, right around 2 or 3, I was singing along with my mom, and she was like, "Well, okay." So one day we were in church, and I looked at my mom, and I just looked at her. She was the accompanist, the piano player at a church, and I looked at her. She used to sneak me up on the platform with her, and she'd be like, "All right, you sit there. Don't make any noise. I have to play for the service." I was like, "Okay." But she said one day during the service, I looked at her. I was like, "Mom, I want to sing." I was 3 years old, and she was like, "Are you sure?" And of course, at home, she'd be playing the piano. I'd sing along with her, cute stuff for home. And she's like, "Okay." So she kind of, had the music director come over. "Hey, Kim, Blake, sing one." "Yeah, okay." She stood me up on the piano stool, and I sang all 4 verses and all 4 choruses of Amazing Grace by myself at 3 years old, and people were like, "Ugh," and my mom was like, "We might have something here." So fast forward 2 years later, first record contract, and I spent the next 13 years of my life on a tour bus, and it's been one hell of a ride ever since.
What was your most memorable performance you've played to date?
Oh man,
that's a big question.
Yeah, because I've worked with so many different bands and had such a weird and diverse career, everything from opera to jazz to blues to R&B to funk, soul, country, rockabilly. I mean, I've been able to work with so many musicians. I mean, I worked at B.B. King's in Memphis for 6 years. I was able to headline at Graceland,
And the question remains, which one is your most memorable show?
I honestly can't. I can't.
What's the biggest crowd you've ever played?
Live or on television?
Live.
Live? Oh, man. It had to have been the 30th anniversary of Elvis's death. I headlined at Graceland, and there was a handful of Elvis impersonators there, which that was another part of my life. Whenever I had hair, I was Elvis tribute artist, and they invited a whole bunch of us out there for the celebration, the 30th anniversary of his death, and got to meet Priscilla and Lisa Marie, God rest. And there were over, I want to say, 13,000 people at the Graceland Plaza and the grounds, and it was electric. It was electric. And I was only, God, that was back in 2007. So that was almost 20 years ago.
How old were you when you started writing songs?
Oh, when I was a teenager.
You consider yourself a good songwriter?
I'm average. I don't write a lot. I have a lot of material that I've written, but it's because there's been so much time spent writing. Some people are able to just write songs and stuff, but the way my mind works, I can only write a song whenever I have the music in my head.
Okay.
And because of that, it's kind of a built-in writer's block.
Sure. So you don't get the idea for a song like, ooh, this kid, kind of you don't come up with the idea for the song.
No.
You hear a song and then you put words to it.
Right.
It's so cool how everybody's got their different process, and literally everybody I talk to, it's a little different.
Yeah,
they find their way there.
I'm definitely not a word man. I'm not a music man. I'm kind of like, there has to be a happy medium. Like, I'll hear a tune and then I'll be like, all right, subject matter goes here and there and stuff. And now there are some instances where, I've completely written a song. It's a rarity, but, subject matter is aligned and I'm able to write a song. And then I go into a place like Falling Waters up in Brevard with Brad Rudolph. He's a talented engineer and producer and has a studio up there. And he writes music and stuff. And he's actually the guy that I work with whenever we released the Deadliest Catch soundtrack a couple of years ago for season 4 or 5. Anyway, he had stuff pre-recorded that he had written, just music. And he's like, hey, man, I want you to listen to this. I was like, okay, cool. And he starts playing it, and I'm like, that sounds familiar. And I get to thinking, and it haunts me until the next time I come back. And I said, play that again. And I start looking through the songs that I've written, and there's a song on my phone that is literally completely aligned with the music that he had already written, like 1 in a million. And it was like the music that he wrote was perfect for my song. So there are instances like that.
Right.
But usually, I have to have both the music and the lyrics going for me to be able to write a song. So,
awesome.
But yeah.
Do you feel like the music business has changed a good bit since you started into it, and how has that affected you?
Well, whenever I got started, I was mailing in 8x10 photographs and cassette tapes to radio stations.
Yeah, I'd say it's changed a good bit.
I remember that was press kits back then.
Right.
A festival or a venue, that you were interested in playing in. Whenever you stopped in a town on tour, you stole a phone book from the payphone booth at the truck stop, and you had your box of promo cassette tapes and your 8x10s and your manila envelopes, and you went through the phone book that you stole from the truck stop and found all the venues in town, wrote down their addresses, and sent them off in the mail. And you just crossed your fingers and waited to hear back.
You just put it out there in the universe and hoped for the best. Huh?
Yeah. But I mean, nowadays with clickbait and paid ads and stuff like that, man, people get discovered overnight.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
as the music world gets away from big labels and more into the independent stuff, do you feel like that makes it more difficult or easier for someone to make it in this business?
It's kind of hard. With so many different genres of music that are completely based on facade type stuff, like looks or shock value or, lifestyle geared music, those people will always have an audience, I think, whether they're represented by big firms or not. You look at people like Cody Jinks, unsigned, tremendous artist, and he gave a huge middle finger to the establishment and said, I'm going to release a record on my own, and completely blew up.
Yep.
And he is shaking things up. Real country music is coming back, and he's one of the main causes of that. But then you look at signed artists like Luke Combs, and he has songs. 5 different songs on the radio every hour on the hour, literally.
True story.
You'll hear him five times in an hour on any.
I wonder if they're playing him that much in all cities or just here in his hometown. I mean, I know he's doing well, obviously, but
I'll tell you this much.
I wonder about the airplay.
I'll tell you this much. I was in Nashville back in November, and they were playing him that much in Nashville while I was there. It isn't just
Hometown.
Yeah.
Got it.
He is shaking up the game for sure. And it's awesome to see him.
Who are you rocking to in your car radio? Who are you tuned into? Who does Blake Ellege love to listen to?
Oh man, Holly hates me so much for this. So I have so many guilty pleasures that I listen to because I sing a lot of country, sing a lot of blues, sing a lot of rock, sing a lot of oldies, stuff like this. I listen to a lot of classical music. I listen to a lot of instrumental classical music, German yodeling music. Don't knock it. There's some early European rock bands that I listen to. Steel Eye Span, a lot of Celtic folk bands like Planksty that I listen to. But I love Styx. I love Journey. I love AC/DC. I love all the classic bands and stuff. You know, I have a 6-hour-long playlist on my Spotify that I've curated since it came out.
Right.
It's the most badass rock playlist ever. And it's all my favorite rock tunes, anything from Genesis to, Elvis. So I listen to it all. I love it all, but I like this morning in the shower, I was listening to the Osborne Brothers, one of the first families of bluegrass music in Tennessee, the guys who made Rocky Top famous.
Yeah.
But I love it all.
Well, what's your how long do you see yourself doing music for a living?
I want to be like Colonel Bruce Hampton. I want to be right on stage whenever God snuffs me out. And that's where I want to be. That's how I want to do it, as long as I have breath in my body, I'm going to be doing this. I don't care if I'm in a wheelchair and they have to wheel me out. I don't care,
Well, you can tell the music just radiates from your spirit. You can tell when you're on stage, and you're a remarkable talent, capable of doing any genre of music. And I'm not going to lie and say that I'm too familiar with many of your original tunes, but I look forward to hearing more of those. The stuff that I've heard most is your cover stuff that you've done in my venues, and it's just outstanding. Your energy as a performer is just outstanding. So looking forward to many more years of you serenading this area and beyond. And yeah, just a pleasure to have you on this scene musically and all those things. So appreciate you for all that, sir.
Appreciate you. Thank you for your love and support all these years.
Yes, sir. We'll keep it going. All right, Gall. All right, y'all. We're going to come back for our fourth and final segment, talking about all things Santa Claus with Mr. Blake Ellege. That is the third major facet to his personality. There's probably a bunch of stuff I don't know about, but those are the three things I know about. So we'll take a short break. We'll be right back for our final segment with Blake Ellege. Don't forget, check out tomorrow Mountaintop Spirits at your local ABC store. We're sponsored by Trinity Farms Hemp Company, and we'll be right back.
Okay. Hey y'all, I'm Dunbar with Instant Karma Asheville. We are a one-stop hippie shop and a true Asheville experience. Oh, and we have 3D tapestries. You gotta check this out. See what I'm saying? Every 3D tapestry comes with a free pair of 3D glasses. It's amazing. We've got grassroots hats, belly dancing gear, and we have beautiful dream catchers for catching all those dreams that you don't want to have. We have locally made Asheville soap. It's delicious. You're gonna want some for you and your mom. Those would be incense matches. They're really great for the bathroom. Yeah. We have great pipes too. And we have yoga mats. They're really beautiful and soft, and they really help you to just calm down. We sell dragon eye journals and pendants. All sorts of beautifully made local stuff. We have 2 locations, one in West Asheville on Haywood Road, and the other one is downtown on North Lexington Avenue. Make sure you check out our online store at instantkarmaasheville.com. And I can say we are the place you want to be.
And welcome back to our 4th and final segment of Cosmic Koolaid, episode 11. I'm your host, Cory Short. In the booth with me, we have the ever-talented Mr. Blake Ellege, who is a damn moonshiner. He's a badass musician, frontman for a multitude of bands, touring up and down the East Coast and beyond. Just a talented all-around dude. And maybe we are getting to the part of the show where we talk about possibly your biggest talent. Your biggest contribution to the universe, and that is the magic that you plant directly inside the lives of many children at Christmas time every year as this area's most recognizable real-life Santa Claus. How did you get into that at such a young age? You're not even 30 yet, are you?
I'm 31.
Okay. So.
I just turned 30. I just broke the dirty 30.
Okay.
So...
And you pull it off like you're 80. Like it's perfect. You know that. You know how great it looks. But go ahead. Tell me how you got into it.
It's Christmas magic. No. So I can't really not tell how it actually happened because there was a prolific thing that happened that caused me to get into this part of my life. And it happened here in Asheville. I always loved Christmas. Always loved Christmas. I used to dress up like Santa when I was a kid. I used to dress up like Santa and hang out in my grandparents' house and hand out Christmas presents. You know, have my little Christmas, Santa outfit and made a fake beard out of cotton balls and stuff. And I loved it. I always played dress up and was Santa at Christmas. But I think the main thing that caused this big push into quote unquote becoming Santa. It was in the Asheville Mall and it was Christmas time. And I was walking through the mall with my dad and a couple other people, Christmas shopping, last minute stuff, a couple weeks before Christmas. And there was this group of kids walking through the mall in front of us. And they were stair steps, man, like so many different ages and, many different ethnic backgrounds. Hispanic boy, a white girl, and just completely, you could tell that this was more than likely a group home or foster home scenario. And I was watching, and this little African-American boy, he was kind of like trailing behind, distracted and stuff. And he looked so unhappy. I mean, he had more than likely had just been introduced into that setting through CPS or some kind of foster care intervention, completely just stone-faced. And I kept watching him. We were walking through the mall, and then we got to the place where Santa was at in the mall. And this little boy that looked so lost, so unhappy, so dejected, so broken, saw Santa, and a light went off in his eyes, and he smiled so big. And even at that young age in my life, it made me realize that we never know what a child is going through. And if I could help bring that happiness and that escape and that moment of magic to someone, a child or, an adult, then I'm able to let them forget about whatever's troubling them or whatever they're going through, and really, really letting Christmas magic manifest.
Now, how old were you when you went into full disguise the first time?
Oh, man.
Full disguise professionally.
Full on Santa. 19? Yeah. Full on, like...
Full beard back then, too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Movie quality Santa, full on, like 19.
I hope that by the time this airs, you have emailed me a graphic of 19-year-old Blake Santa, so we can put that up for the audience to see.
Oh, man. It was wild, I was in undergrad, and I had a call from one of my buddies in college, and he was like, "Hey, we need a Santa for a Christmas party. You know anyone?" And I was like, "I know just the guy." So I show up, and they're like, "Who's this old guy? Holy crap, it's Santa." And they didn't know it was me. And I've been...
Ever since.
Yeah, ever since. And it's been one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done with my life. I'm able to visit with so many different families and children of all ages,
How does it affect your musical income? So, I mean, obviously you're making income as Santa during the holiday season. Are you taking less money to get away from music for those 2 months and just be Santa? Or are you making more money?
Well, here's the thing. I'm actually making no money as Santa during Christmas. Whether people know this or not, my work with Appalachian Santa completely funds my nonprofit, the Gifts of St. Nicholas Foundation, that does disaster relief for the Southeast. So a lot of people remember the flooding that happened up in Haywood County and Crusoe.
Yep.
That's a prime example of the work that we do. But my Santa work, all of the money that I make from doing my Santa work funds the nonprofit where we're able to help a lot of people that are going through hard times. And but to answer your question, I don't personally take a hit. I mean, well, I do, but it's for a worthy cause, and I think, it's something that needs to be done. And
Is it hard to maintain the character when you're around the kids?
Oh no, man. Whenever a child shows up and they look at you, Santa Claus is the only figure in American history where anyone can walk up to you and start talking to you like they know you, because you're Santa. There's no apprehension. People love you regardless.
So I'm really sorry for any kids that are watching this that love their Santa Blake, because we're going to take it to a whole nother level here. But Does Holly get turned on by the Santa disguise?
So
I got you tongue tied over there, buddy.
To answer your question, no.
Okay.
That we don't do that. My Santa work is completely, it's almost like a borderline.
Santa needs loving too, Blake.
Well, but
Santa's been working with kids all day. Santa comes home.
Santa is exhausted, and Santa falls asleep as soon as he sits down on the couch.
All right, we're gonna call this a TMI. We're gonna cut it right there.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Holly. Hope you're not sitting there red faced too. Anyway, that was fun. Thank you for partaking in it for just a second. You might can blame your mountaintop spirits for that question.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame that for sure.
But anyway, man, it really is such a cool thing that you do, and you've somehow managed to penetrate every major event in the city of Asheville during the holiday season. You have become the go-to Santa, and in addition to all the other things you got going on, it's just really cool.
I appreciate
Really
it.
cool to see. Yeah. What's your favorite part of it?
My Santa work, I really view it as somewhat of a ministry. I cut ties with organized religion a long time ago, and it was mainly because I grew up in it, and so a large part of my life was dedicated to organized religion. And
Tell me more about that.
well, being in Southern gospel music, you're working a lot with Southern Baptist movement, Pentecostal holiness churches, really, really strict denominations where your lifestyle has to be a certain way. You have to live a certain life. Ankle-length dresses, no skin showing, no makeup, no jewelry, haircut a certain way, and something that dictates every single facet of your life. And so I didn't want to have that lifestyle. I wanted to be able to say, hey, my relationship with Christ is my relationship with Christ, and someone's doctrine and theology shouldn't be a precedent for how I live my life. My troubles and my worries and my stressors, are put before Christ on my behalf, not someone else's. And because of that and my relationship with Christ, I view my Santa work that same way. My position in life as a whole is to be there for others, is to be a blessing to others, whether it's through my music, my art, what have you. So my Santa work, you're there for children. You're helping keep the magic alive, small children that are really excited about Santa, that love Santa. You're there to exacerbate that magic. For the children that are 5 and 6 and 7, that are in elementary school, and little Johnny's like, Santa's not real. It's your mom and dad that come and visit you that are on the fence about believing in Santa. You're there to help give them just a little bit of magic to believe one more year. But on the far end of the spectrum, you're there for the 70, 80-year-old man or woman that's in the nursing home that's been forgotten about, whose family stopped visiting about 5 years ago. You're there for them to go visit them and put a smile on their face at Christmas time and let them know that someone's there that still loves them.
What are the most common questions the kids ask you in your lap? What do you get?
They ask me what the North Pole's like, where my reindeer are. They ask me, what was last year's? How many elves do you have? That's a fun one. And are you real? That's a main one. Like, are you real? And I usually have them pull on my beard or pinch me, and I scream really loud. They just die laughing. It's so funny. But those are the most common questions.
What advice would you give to somebody coming up wanting to do it, wanting to be Santa?
You have to have you have to have a servant's heart. You have to have a heart of ministry to a certain degree, because you're there for people. I mean, for children, mostly. You know, it's not for the faint of heart at all. This past year, I've had more children ask me for food for Christmas than I have toys.
Oh, that's tough.
Whenever we have gotten to a place in society where children are coming up to Santa asking Santa for food instead of toys, you know, you have to have a person in that chair that knows how to comfort and answer questions like that, you know, or have a child that say to you, Santa, I want daddy back for Christmas, or I want mommy back for Christmas, or I want daddy to stop hurting mommy, or I want, you know, some unattainable thing. You have to be in a position to be able to comfort that child or talk to them about that situation and bring comfort to them. So if you're wanting to be Santa, we always say being Santa is more than a white beard and a red suit. You have to have a servant's heart and a heart for ministry and a heart for children and a heart for people.
Awesome. I love that you do this, man. I love that you do it at your age. I think it's really special because you still get 50 more years of doing it, which is the cool part. I mean, you're gonna be doing this for a long time. So multiple generations are gonna get to come through your lap at Christmas time.
It's already happened.
You've already had 2 generations.
Oh man, it happened this year, and I felt so old. There was a 3-day-old baby that I held the first year that I was Santa, that I did a public gig. And they walked up and they said, "Hey, how are you? This is my baby." And I said, "What?"
How old could she have been?
No, I'm talking about like the first year that I did Santa in public.
Right.
Yeah. So it's really weird. It's really weird. It was a mother that brought, I can't remember. There's so many, I can't remember. But I see multiple generations. And it's really, really weird to see all these kids grow up in front of you. It makes you feel old.
Well, it's a unique thing you do. You definitely have this market locked up for it, and I hope you keep on rocking with it, man. There's a lot of kids that are excited to see you come and come back year after year, so keep on keeping on, man. That's a good thing you do there.
Appreciate it.
So a few questions before we wrap up this episode.
Sure.
And we are going to make sure everybody knows where to find you and all your products and your booking numbers and all that stuff. But just a couple more here, and it's one of my favorite ones. First of all, is there anything that you wanted my audience to know? Anything you wished I would have asked you that I did not?
Not really. I just love being able to come on and spend time with
Chop
you.
it up. Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah.
Okay, then answer this for me. If you weren't living this life as this current Blake Ellege model, what would you be doing? If you weren't a Santa, a moonshiner, and a hell of a musician, what would you be doing? What 3 things would you be doing?
I'd still be doing the exact same thing. In the words of Luke Combs, I'd still be doing this.
It's funny how we end up in our natural groove, man. It's funny you were talking earlier about, being so young and knowing, certain things, and parents really got to pay attention to what their kids are doing.
I better believe it.
I've got photographs when I was 6, 7 years old. I had the lemonade stand out in front of my house as a 6-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
I always knew that I wanted to do business.
Yeah.
I always knew that. I also knew I wanted to be a DJ. I got photographs of me DJing with turntables and a boombox at pool parties when I was 10 years old. Blake.
Nice.
So when these kids drop ideas on you, parents, listen.
Yeah.
Because everything that I was doing as a kid, I grew up to do for a living. And to this day, it's still my passion. I don't have a passion to DJ anymore, but for 20 years I did, So it's just cool that how those stuff comes to be. Parents, pay attention to what your kids are doing. and feed it, foster it if it's good.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many societal and generational norms that people try to carry to the next generation that are far, far long gone. You know, I wish that, honestly, that I had went to a trade school instead of an undergraduate program and a master's program, because, you know, it would have served me better in life being able to learn several trades, because in hindsight, my undergraduate and my degrees, they haven't served me any, because I don't have a part in the classical music part of my life anymore. So I don't need them. And that was time. It wasn't wasted, but it doesn't serve me. So I think, you know, anything that a child is interested in that wants to do, if it's coding for video games or designing video games, or, you know, being someone that goes out and studies species of insects, you know, encourage it. You know, we can never tell. Your child wants to study bugs. They find a new species of bug that can be harvested and broken down. Chemical compounds found in that certain insect can come up with a cure for cancer, God forbid. You know?
Yep.
It's support your kids. Love them.
Support your kids. That's it.
Yeah.
Feed their dreams.
That's right.
Because they become reality.
That's right.
Blake, thank you so much for taking the time to come on, man. It's been an honor to have you here. It's been a lot of fun chopping it up with you. Tell my audience where they can find you for booking, for moonshine inquiries or mountaintop spirits inquiries. We're past moonshine now.
Oh yeah. This isn't your grandpa's moonshine.
And for Appalachian Santa, tell us where they can find you.
All right. Well, for music, you can find me at BlakeEllegemusic.com. That's Blake, ELLEGE music.com. And you'll find show dates, you'll find pictures, you'll find all of my music.
All of his outfits.
Videos from performances. You'll find all kinds of cool stuff there, as well as all the information to book me. Mountaintop Spirits can be found on Facebook. We're grassroots right now, starting distribution in North Carolina. You can find us on Facebook, Mountaintop Spirits. You'll be able to request these in North Carolina ABC stores starting tomorrow, which is exciting. Anywhere in North Carolina, you'll be able to find the codes for specific flavors on the Facebook page, Mountaintop Spirits, and go to any North Carolina ABC store with that code and request that product. Appalachian Santa, you can find me at AppalachianSanta.net or on Facebook, Appalachian Santa, and reach out to me for any booking inquiries that you have for Santa Claus.
Awesome. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and wrap this episode up. We're going to come back in November, right after you've changed into Santa mode. Oh, wow. And we're going to bring you back in full-on Santa mode come holiday season. So be looking forward to that.
Oh, boy.
Man, I appreciate you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Corey.
You got it, buddy. We'll see you next time. Folks, this is Blake Ellege. I'm Cory Short. This is Cosmic Koolaid, episode 11. I'm all out of time. We'll see you at the next one.